Cole Hartman had lived on the open land his whole life, but lately he felt like a stranger on it. The wide Wyoming skies that once filled him with peace now only reminded him of everything he had lost. He worked long days on the ranch, fixing fences, checking on cattle, and riding across dusty trails. Yet a quiet heaviness followed him everywhere he went. He missed his younger brother more than he knew how to say. Since the accident months earlier, nothing felt the same. The ranch was full of memories, and every corner seemed to echo with the sound of a life that was gone too soon. Cole's co-workers said he had changed. He used to be easygoing, always ready with a joke or a smile. But now he kept to himself, speaking only when necessary. He slept less, worked more, and didn't let anyone get close. Some days he rode out far beyond the ranch boundaries just to be alone, hoping the silence would help him breathe easier. But the silence only made his thoughts louder. One late afternoon, as the sun dipped low behind the hills, Cole noticed something unusual near the northern end of the ranch. A small figure moved between the trees, slow and unsteady. It wasn't a ranch worker he knew all their shapes and steps from a distance. This person was someone else, someone unexpected, someone who didn't belong on private land. The ranch had clear signs telling hikers to stay on marked trails, and most people respected that. So seeing someone deep inside the property was surprising. Cole nudged his horse forward, curious but cautious. He had the habit of being overly alert lately, not because he wanted trouble, but because worry lived inside him. As he approached, he could see more clearly. The person looked tired, carrying a backpack that seemed too heavy for her small frame. She stopped often, pressing a hand to her forehead as if dizzy. Her clothes were dusty, and her steps looked uncertain. When Cole was close enough, he called out, "Ma'am, you all right?" His voice came out sharper than he meant, a side effect of months spent tightening himself like a rope pulled too hard. The woman gasped, stepping back quickly. Please don't be upset," she said, raising her hand slightly. Her voice shook, but not in fear of him hurting her, more in fear that she had done something wrong. "I didn't mean to be here. I think I'm really lost." Something in her tone startled Cole. She looked exhausted, her face pale from the long walk. Her eyes had the look of someone who had been wandering without direction for far too long. Suddenly, she looked more like a person in trouble than a trespasser. "I'm not upset," Cole said, softening his voice. "Just trying to figure out what's going on." She swallowed, taking a shaky breath. "I was hiking, and my GPS stopped working. I thought I was going the right way, but then I saw no signs anywhere. I tried turning back, but everything looked the same. I've been walking for hours. I didn't know this was private land. I'm so sorry." Her apology came out rushed, almost desperate. Cole could tell she truly hadn't meant any harm. She was simply lost, confused, and very tired. "What's your name?" he asked. "Emily," she said, lowering her hand slowly when she realized he wasn't angry. "Emily Carter." "Well, Emily," Cole replied, "you're a long way off the marked trail. But it's all right. You're safe now. Do you need water?" The relief on her face was instant. "Yes, please. I didn't want to drink too much of mine. I wasn't sure how long I'd be out here." Cole handed her his spare water bottle. She drank carefully at first, then took a deeper sip. Her breathing steadied, and some color returned to her cheeks. Cole watched her quietly, noticing the way her hands trembled. She must have been scared for hours, worried she wouldn't find anyone. "Thank you," she said, handing the bottle back. "I didn't think I'd run into anyone out here. I started to feel like I might be walking in circles forever." Cole nodded. "This part of the ranch is big and kind of confusing if you don't know it. Even some workers get mixed up their first week." Emily let out a weak laugh. "Then I don't feel so bad." Cole could see how worn out she was. Her backpack straps had left red marks on her shoulders, and dust covered her shoes and pants. Whoever she was, she clearly wasn't someone used to navigating rough terrain without guidance. "Do you know which direction you were trying to go?" he asked gently. "I was aiming for the main road by the parking area," she said. "But I think I turned wrong somewhere." Cole looked toward the horizon. "That's a long way from here, but I can get you back," Emily nodded gratefully, but her expression soon shifted. Something worried crossed her face. I didn't mean to cause any trouble. When you came close, I thought you might. I don't know, be angry. I've been nervous all day. Cole felt a surprising pinch in his chest. She had been alone, afraid, and unsure. And she must have imagined all kinds of possibilities while walking so far off trail. The idea that he had added to her fear made him feel a little ashamed. He didn't want to be someone who intimidated people he never had before. But his grief had made him harder, quicker, shorter in patience. Now, looking at Emily's tired face, he realized how much that needed to change. I'm sorry if I scared you, he said gently. I've had a rough few months, but that's no reason to come off the wrong way. I'm not here to threaten anyone. I'm just trying to keep the land safe. Emily relaxed a little. It's okay. I was already on edge. A soft breeze moved through the trees, giving both of them a moment to breathe. The golden light of early evening stretched across the land, painting everything in warm colors. Cole felt something ease inside him, something he hadn't felt in a long time. Let's get you back before it gets dark, he said. How's your leg holding up? You look like you've been walking a while. I'm sore, but I can make it, Emily answered. I'm just glad someone found me. I didn't want to spend the night out here. They began walking slowly toward the trail Cole knew well. He kept his horse beside them so Emily could lean on the saddle if she needed support. He stayed close without hovering, watching for signs that she might stumble or need a rest. Emily walked quietly at first, focusing on each step. But after a few minutes, she spoke again. Do you live around here? Born and raised, Cole said. It's beautiful, Emily murmured, looking around. I mean, a little overwhelming when you're lost, but beautiful. He smiled faintly. It is. I forget that sometimes. As they moved over uneven ground, Emily asked a bit about the ranch. Curious but polite. Cole answered simply, telling her about the horses, the cattle, and the miles of land they worked on. Emily listened with genuine interest, and it surprised him how natural it felt to talk. He hadn't shared much with anyone lately, not even the people he worked with every day. After a while, Emily glanced at him. You said you had a rough few months. You don't have to tell me why, but I'm sorry. Her gentle tone caught him off guard. He wasn't used to kindness directed at him anymore. For a moment, he thought about brushing it off, but something about her honesty made him open up just a little. I lost my brother, he said quietly. Emily's eyes softened with sadness. I'm really sorry. That must be incredibly hard, Cole nodded. Yeah, it is. She didn't try to give advice or fill the silence with empty words. She just walked beside him, letting the quiet sit gently between them. And strangely, it made Cole feel lighter than he had in months. Sometimes, all someone needed was another person willing to listen without judgment. As they continued, Cole realized something important. This moment helping someone, talking, being useful was the first time he had felt connected to the world again since his brother passed. Emily might have felt lost today, but in a quiet, unexpected way. Helping her find her way back was helping him to dot the land stretched ahead. The sky warming to a soft orange glow. Emily's steps grew steadier, her fear fading with each minute. And for the first time in a long while, Cole felt a small spark of hope. Maybe life wasn't done offering him chances. Maybe this encounter was the beginning of something better. Cole and Emily continued walking slowly across the open land, the sky shifting from gold to a soft purple. The air cooled, making the long walk a little easier. Emily's steps were steadier than before, but Cole still kept a close eye on her. He made sure she never felt rushed. He knew the land better than anyone. And he also knew how challenging it could be for someone already tired and worn out as they walked. The trees thinned, giving them a clear view of the distant hills. Emily paused to admire the horizon, even though she was still exhausted. It really is beautiful, she whispered. Even after being lost for hours, I can't deny how peaceful it looks. Cole glanced at the view. Then at Emily. It is peaceful, he said quietly. I just forgot how to notice it. Emily looked at him with gentle curiosity. I think anyone would struggle after going through something painful. It takes time to feel normal again. Her kindness surprised Cole. She didn't know him. Yet she spoke with the softness of someone who understood what it meant to hurt deeply. He wanted to thank her, but the words stayed inside. Instead, he simply nodded and continued guiding her towards safer ground. The path grew smoother, and Emily started asking small questions about ranch life. She wanted to learn about the horses, the cattle, and the routines of working outdoors every day. Cole answered each question patiently. Talking about the ranch felt easier than talking about himself. It reminded him of the good parts of his life, the things that existed long before sorrow took over. After some time, Cole noticed Emily slowing down again. Her steps grew careful, her breath slightly heavier. "You doing all right?" he asked gently. "I'm okay," she replied, forcing a small smile. "Just a little tired. I didn't realize hiking off-trail would be this hard. I usually stay on well-marked paths." Cole chuckled softly. "Most people do. This land can be tricky if you don't know it." Emily nodded and looked down at the dusty ground. "I was so sure I could find my way." It's strange how quickly confidence disappears when things go wrong. Cole understood that feeling more deeply than she knew. "Yeah," he said softly. "Life can change faster than we expect." They walked in silence for a while, each lost in their thoughts. The wind rustled through the grass, carrying the faint scent of pine. Emily seemed calmer now, her earlier fear replaced by quiet trust. She kept glancing at Cole, as if thankful that fate had put him on the same path that day. Eventually, they reached a small creek that flowed gently through the ranch. Its clear water sparkled in the fading light. Cole stopped. "Let's rest here for a few minutes," he suggested. "You should take a break before we keep going." Emily agreed gratefully. She sat on a smooth rock near the water, taking slow breaths. Cole's horse lowered its head to drink, and the peaceful sound of flowing water filled the air. Emily looked up at Cole. "Thank you for being patient with me. I know I must have slowed you down." "You didn't slow me down," he said softly. "I'm glad I found you before nightfall." Emily studied his expression. His face carried a heavy mixture of strength and sadness, something she had noticed earlier, but hadn't commented on. After a moment, she spoke carefully. "You mentioned your brother earlier. You don't have to talk about it if it's difficult, but if you want to, I'll listen." Cole stared at the creek for a long moment. He wasn't used to opening his heart, especially not to strangers. But something about Emily's calm presence made the idea feel safe. "He was younger than me," Cole began, his voice low, full of energy. "He made every day brighter. Losing him, it changed everything. I didn't know how to deal with it. I still don't, some days." Emily nodded slowly, her eyes gentle. "Grief doesn't disappear, but sharing it helps lighten the load a bit. You don't have to carry it alone." Her words touched something deep within him. He hadn't realized how desperately he needed someone to say those things out loud. For months, he carried the weight quietly, refusing to burden others. Now, sitting beside a quiet creek, he felt something inside him begin to loosen and old knot slowly untangling. Emily took off her backpack and rubbed her shoulders. "I know losing someone leaves an empty space," she said softly. "I lost my grandfather last year. We were very close. It still hurts sometimes." Cole looked at her, surprised. "I'm sorry," he said gently. Emily offered a small, sad smile. "It's okay. I tried to remember the good memories. It helps." For a few minutes, they sat quietly, letting the soft sounds around them fill the silence. Cole realized this was the first peaceful moment he had experienced in a long time. Not the kind of quiet that weighed him down, but the kind that lifted something heavy off his heart. After resting, they continued their journey. The creek curved around a cluster of trees, and beyond it lay a trail Cole knew well. With each step, Emily seemed more confident. Her fear was now replaced with determination. As they walked, she said, "You know, earlier today, when I was lost, I kept telling myself to stay calm. But as the hours passed, I started imagining all the wrong things. I thought I might never find a way out." Cole glanced at her. "But you didn't give up." "I almost did," Emily admitted. "But when you showed up, I felt like it was a sign, like someone was watching out for me." Cole swallowed gently. "Maybe someone was." Emily gave him a gentle smile. one that warmed him in a way he hadn't felt in months. By the time they reached the marked trailhead, the sky was painted with soft pink and lavender tones. Emily stopped and took a deep breath, looking around as if she had finally stepped back into the world she recognized. "This is it," Cole said, pointing toward the direction of the parking area. "If you follow this path, you'll reach the road in about 20 minutes. Emily looked relieved, but she didn't move right away. Instead, she turned to Cole with an expression full of gratitude. "I don't know how to thank you," she said. "Today could have gone very differently. You helped me more than you know." Cole felt something shift inside him, a warm, humbling feeling. "I'm just glad you're okay." "Anyone would have done the same." Emily shook her head softly. "No, not everyone would have taken the time to walk with me and talk to me, or show so much kindness." He wasn't used to hearing praise, and it made him slightly uneasy, yet grateful. Emily reached into her backpack, pulled out a small notebook, and tore a page from it. She wrote something quickly and folded the paper. "Here," she said, offering it to him. "It's my number and my email. If you ever need someone to talk to about anything, you can reach out. You don't have to go through everything alone." Cole hesitated, then accepted the paper quietly. "Thank you," he said, his voice sincere. Emily smiled warmly. "Take care of yourself, Cole." "You too, Emily." She walked down the trail, turning back once to wave. Cole lifted a hand in reply, watching her disappear between the trees. When she was gone, he stood there for a long moment, holding the folded paper gently in his hand. The daylight faded slowly, and the land around him felt different, lighter, calmer, almost hopeful. For the first time in months, the world didn't feel like a place full of shadows. It felt like a place where new paths could be found, even when someone felt lost. Cole climbed onto his horse and headed back toward the ranch, the soft glow of evening guiding his way. The memory of the day played through his mind, not the fear, not the confusion, but the connection, the honesty, the reminder that healing was possible. And as the stars started to appear overhead, Cole felt something he didn't expect, a sense of peace. Maybe life had given him a second chance, not in a dramatic way, not in a loud way, but in a quiet moment beside a lost hiker who reminded him that he wasn't alone. And from that day on, he carried that moment with him as a gentle promise that better days were still ahead.